of Arab civilization came with the advent of Islam at the end of the first decade of the 7th century. Medina was chosen as the capital of the Islamic State that expanded during the reign of Prophet Muhammad and his Rashidun caliphs to include all parts of the Arabian Peninsula and other territories abroad. The most notable incident was the wars waged by Abu Bakr al-Siddiq against apostasy. During these wars, the first caliph worked to get rid of the apostates. Caliph Ali bin Abi Talib selected Kufa as a capital for the Islamic State. After a few years, Damascus was selected as the new capital of the Umayyad Empire. The Arabian Peninsula was in that era a subordinate of the Umayyad state that relied on the support of the Arab tribes. Afterwards, Abbasid Caliphate took over the peninsula. Moving the capital of the Caliphate from Damascus to Baghdad reinforced the influence of the Arabian as a sea passage, facilitating trade with China and Eastern African countries. This was at the expense of the trade road running along the Red Sea. The early Abbasid caliphs encouraged the pilgrimage to Mecca by improving transportation and safety. With the disintegration of the Abbasid Caliphate and its inability to control its path, the Fatimids took control of the Hijaz. However, Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi abolished the Fatimid state in Egypt and imposed his rule over the Hijaz. Thereafter, the Mamluks extended their influence there until 1715 when the Uthmans took over the Caliphate and over the whole Arabian Peninsula. The great-grandfather of the Al-Saud family, Mani ibn Rabi al-Murayyidi, moved in the mid-15th century from Al-Qatif to Najd. Al-Murayyidi settled there and established the city of Al-Zirayya. The Ottomans took control of Al-Hassa region in 1871. Al-Saud family were exiled to Kuwait at the hands of Al-Rashid family in 1891. In 1902, Abdulaziz bin Abdul Rahman bin Faisal Al-Saud extended his influence over Riyadh. Al-Saud family returned to this area from its exile in Kuwait. Abdulaziz recaptured Riyadh and began the process of expanding his rule in the region. After 4 years, Najd were unified under his control. He continued his journey to unify the kingdom by annexing Mecca in 1924, Medina in 1925, and Asir in 1926. In 1932, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was united. Abdulaziz Al-Saud conquered an area 3 times the size of Texas and then named it after himself. He and his first generation of sons have ruled Saudi Arabia ever since. Six years later, King Faisal bin Abdulaziz Al-Saud assumed the throne with a vision to modernize the government and its administration. By 1969 and 1970, the kingdom launched the first development plan. The Organization of the Islamic Conference, currently Organization of Islamic Cooperation, was established in Jeddah. In 1975, King Faisal was assassinated by his nephew and King Khalid bin Abdulaziz took the throne. King Khalid supervised the development and the industrialization process of the country. he co-founded the Gulf Cooperation Council in 1981. After the death of King Khalid in 1982, King Fahad bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, who later called himself the custodian of the two holy mosques, continued to develop and modernize the country. During his rule, the Consultative Assembly was established in 1992. The municipal law was introduced. The basic system of governance that clarifies the responsibilities and duties of the ruler was introduced. In 1993, King Fahad issued a decree to divide the kingdom into 13 administrative subdivisions. During the reign of King Fahad, Saudi Arabia participated in aid and ground attacks against Iraqi forces in Kuwait in 1991. In 2002, Crown Prince Abdullah launched the Arab Peace Initiative at the Arab Summit in Perak. In 2003, the Consultative Assembly was granted the mandate of proposing new laws. 2 years later, the country's municipal elections were introduced. King Abdullah ascended the throne in August 2005. In 2006, he took steps to organize the succession process in an attempt to prevent conflict that might arise among the second generation of princes. In September 2011, the Saudi king granted women more rights, including the right to vote, the right to stand for local elections, and the right to be appointed in the Consultative Assembly. In 2015, King Salman bin Abdulaziz succeeded his brother King Abdullah after the death of the latter. Since King Salman ascended the throne, his son and Crown Prince Muhammad has played a major role in the administration of the country.